just have to accept that you are going to fucking struggle. For quite a long time, for a couple of 100 days, you are just not going to have any archers. Before we even start trying to recruit hunters, you have to have the happy powder in reserve. Because as soon as you sacrifice someone, the hunter will leave. So that's a two-handed sword, a bunch of two-handed weapons, a little scary, but I love that these guys come with whips. That little increase to renown gain is going to be important for the trading caravan. I mean, it was noticeable. We were 400 days into the caravan start, and we barely had it 1,000 or 2,000 renown. Clutch. We don't have a Katal dagger lad yet. We'll get there though. Damn it. Whips are great. And speaking of utility, you're reminding me of one of the better builds that we had in season 23. I called it a torturer. It's a one-handed shield specialist, shield and cleaver specialist with quick hands. So he's got good defense from his shield, and then he can freely quick hands between whip and cleaver to disarm and do damage with a cleaver. Doesn't have the kind of top end damage of some of the other builds, but man, so useful. I remember one situation in the last campaign. Oof, throwing sand, you bastard. Where we were fighting orcs quite early on, and there was an orc warrior, not warrior, warlord, which is usually utterly terrifying. But we had a high level guy with cleaver specialization and a whip, so he just disarmed the warlord for like the entirety of the fight. What are they wearing? Linothoraxes look like. They're not great armor. Nice hit, Harald. I must say, I love the change to fast adaptation. I feel like the numbers for it make a lot more sense now. You sand-throwing bastards. Now, does he only have a whip, or is he going to quick hands to something else? We need that sergeant though. Oh, I needed that. I feel like that would make it too easy, don't you think, Beam it? Done. Keen to see what we can do with these flails. In my past experience, the big problem with the flails is the lack of top-end damage. And in the bigger, scarier fights where you have to kill a lot of stuff very quickly, the flails just won't do enough damage. Even the two-handed flails can roll as low as 40 damage. What's up, Wolfster? I don't know what these outlaws were thinking when they took us on. Die, nerd. A two-handed cleaver, worth a lot of money, that's awesome. 125, those are very nice helmets. Woodcutter's axe, mallet. And some cash money. These plus ones, killing me. Indeed, Raging Fury, that's kind of what the thinking is here. With the build that I've gone for on my lads, on the sacrifice lads. So if you had to ask me what are the perks to maximize a crap brother, I would say fast adaptation, gifted, and backstabber. That's just to get accuracy going and stats. And then what weapon? a flail because it gets around shields. If it's a brother that, I mean, I have no intention of taking into the late game. The easiest start scenario, I would say Northern Raiders, Lone Wolf, or Gladiators probably. With the Barbarians, you start with 3 pretty godly Barbarians. They are pretty scary. I want to know how much the... Wait, did I not take rally troops at level... Oh, fuck, I'm a moron. What did I take instead? I think I took Polar Mastery. Oh, Stobbie, you tit. Okay, well, we've got to keep training Marden then. Oh no, I've got a spare perk point. God, brain. I feel like the story of me streaming and having viewers watching me, you guys are just watching my brain become smooth in real time. The 15 extra armor for 1 extra fatigue. Okay, that's good. Yes, agreed. First few levels, give them for a crappy brother. Yep. Fast adaptation, gifted, backstabber, then go back for student, and then pretty much whatever you want. Like for this lad, he's got defensive potential, but not much melee skill. I'd give him shield expert. I very rarely give the crap guys heavy armor, because heavy armor is so expensive. And in the early game, you're going to be fighting in a lot of worn mail shirts. Just give them nimble. It'll give them decent survivability. They're not going to be guys who are going to be helping you clear out the Black Monolith. But they can get you to day 250 and above when you can, you know, and that'll give you the time to search for the godlike brothers who will be able to get you through those super godlike. Listen, guys, 105 resolve at level 6 is pretty damn good for a bannerman. He's got 7, 8, 9, 10. You've got 4 more level ups. 24 plus 140 resolve we're looking at. Well, we're going to be doing a bit of arena fighting now. Just because I want to gauge what it's like. And we're going to be safe scumming. 360 for spices. We can make profit off of that. If I had more capital, I just want to make money. I don't really care how. I will sell that war brand. Which I know it seems crazy to sell the war brand. But we need capital for trading, because this is going to make us a fucking fortune. That's only 48 gold above asking price. I've got 12 lads. I don't need any armor in reserve. So we're only 600 away from getting our sergeant, but the thing is I need to get more than that. I need some running capital on top of that. If I buy both incense, both silk, both spices, I'll be pretty broke, but we hang on to it. Let's take a look in the arena. What does the alchemist have? I love saying alchemist just because I heard, what's his name, Jason from Overhype, with his lovely German accent. Here is the alchemist building where you can build all sorts of things. Fire lancers might actually be worth investing in because they're basically boar spears. Brigands for loot. Okay, I know now you're trolling. Oh, you mean regular brigands? I thought you meant northern brigands for a second. Well, you say that, but I've spent the first 40 days in the northern part fighting brigands for loot. And I just know that pretty soon the comments are going to start coming thick and fast on the YouTube upload. Ooh, how are you playing the DLC but you're not actually doing any of the content? Oof, do some window shopping here. Humbert's Lindworm mask. Eventually I want to stockpile loads of those. Taxidermist. Direwolf pelt mantles are certainly worth building. Poison oil, reinforced. In terms of attachments, I think in the super early game, Direwolf pelt is the best. Especially for guys who are going to be nimble. It's plus 15 armor and doesn't cost any fatigue. Well, you say that I don't know the struggle. You're just reminding me of, like, someone will tell me, oh, did you hear about some guy who did Black Monolith, you know, on like day 20? And I think, well done, but I also think, man, fuck that guy. Game is hard, damn it. Everyone struggles. I haven't actually seen the hyena armor yet. Drive off nomads. That's decent money. Let's do that. I don't think the wolf mantle changed. Let's see. Resolve by -5. Maximum fatigue -16. I think that's what leather scale weighs anyway. Many outlaws. Let's see how this goes. You're the monolith guy. Well done to you, but fuck you, man. God damn it, dude. It's super impressive, but holy shit. Us mere mortals. You know how bad you make us feel. We're all very impressed, but fuck you. But I'm impressed though. I'm very impressed. But I shouldn't be too butthurt about it. It kind of reminds me of what I've been thinking about with Blood Bowl recently, because I mean I love a bit of Blood Bowl, man, but I'm just starting to play enough Blood Bowl to realize how much, like, if I want to become competent or like decent, the amount of time you need to put into it. Because I just kind of play Blood Bowl casually, you know. I try to play every Monday, and that's just not good enough. If you don't like dedicate yourself to it, you're just gonna get fucking steamrolled by the guys who know exactly what they're doing. Oh, that's brutal. Can someone explain to me how you get whipped to death? Oof. Okay, Grave Bees, that's your name. Well, somebody got hit. Who was that? Harold. Ooh, a 3-headed flail. Gimme. I sometimes like to imagine my lads shouting at them like, put your weapons down and you can leave. Strip down naked, give us your gear, and you may go. Not gonna happen though, is it? These lads actually have dodge, what the fuck? Good point. Barbed tip. So what was the hit chance there for fast adaptation? Uses chop, hits nomad. Okay, so right there is the perfect example of where we would have missed if it wasn't for fast adaptation. Because as I remember, the calculation of fast adaptation being explained is that the higher melee skill, base melee skill the brother has, the less value it has. And fast adaptation only does anything on the exact swing where you hit, where you would have missed if it wasn't for fast adaptation. So chance was 52, we rolled a 51, so that's a perfect example of it being worth it there. Wow, the hyena mantle actually gives you initiative. That's very nice. We should start changing the spears in the front line. Example now over 60 melee. 60 melee is a decent enough time. Also think about, does the brother who's using the spear, does he have fast adaptation? Personally, I like more or less my hit chance to be around 80%. So once my brother gets above 65, I'll move away from the spears. That lad, I'm gonna net actually. I want to make sure he doesn't get away. I love that these guys are using all these strange weapons that are so hard to find otherwise. The three-headed flail. Not something you see a lot of. Oh, I forgot, like, that's impossible. 31% casual hit. Let's move him over to a stick. Colossus, gifted dodge. Oh yeah. The nerf to Colossus is, you know, noticeable for your two-handers. It really is. I just don't know what kind of armor he's wearing, so let's dagger him down. I'm just curious. This throw sand shit needs to be nerfed. I think it costs, what, 3 AP currently? It's too little. Colossus, they've increased the AP cost for Colossus, haven't they? I think it now... Oh, sorry, not Colossus. When you said Colossus, I was thinking Indom, excuse me. They haven't nerfed Colossus, they nerfed Indom. My old smooth brain getting the better of me there. Get him. So disappointed that Stobbie the First died. He could have been like level 6 or so as a dagger specialist. And now, around about dagger, you know, day 40, between day 40 and day, you know, 100 or whatever. These are the prime daggering down guys days. You get the most out of it. So 65 for 7, that's not great. 105 for 11, that's okay. That's almost comparable to the regular chain. Scimitar, that's whatever. Light Southern Mace. We didn't get the three-headed flail, but we did get the Separ. That's nice. Okay, so... Grave Bees, let me know what you think of my theory here. So, I've never defeated the monolith, but my 1 or 2 attempts at the monolith has taught me that I need a god tank whose destiny it is to just head north and solely hold off that little northern formation that you have to deal with in the monolith. The Mazuma, he's my monolith tank. Look at 3 stars in defense, and he's going to be a high-level cultist too, so he's going to have good fatigue, good hit points. We're going to chuck him in heavy armor. I'm going to go almost exclusively defensive. And then when the Black Monolith fight starts, he'll march north, keep the other lads busy. Sword specialization, lightning sword from the Kraken, just riposte. You know, proc those Mjolnir lightning strikes, have the rest of the squad head like south, kill all the rest of the undead. And then, as long as Mazuma survives long enough to buy them time to clean up the rest of the enemies. That's the theory. Back to 105 for nimble. Ooh, not bad then. Let's see, so 115 for 12. 105 for 11. That would be, I don't have a nimble bro yet, but that would be pretty much the same, wouldn't it? But I suppose this gives you a better chance of keeping your overall weight below 15. So you wear the plated nomad, that gives you 4 fatigue for your head armor. Give him now. Can anybody confirm whether a missed riposte gives you a stack of fast adaptation? I've wanted to know that for a while. $110, 190. Who's got 90 armor? 5 for you. 125 for 8. $140 for 9. 60. I think that's better. Ah, so the Gambison is just shut up better. 65 for 7, 65 for 6. That is 50. Okay, good. Are these worth repairing? 375, that is. How do you deal with sacrifice events? Just be prepared that some of your guys are just going to abandon you. So, as soon as someone becomes a cultist, I'll give them a title because I know I've got long-term potential for them. Like Torvald is a sacrifice, so that when the event pops up, I can see from their name whether he's a cultist or not. And then the sacrifice guys, I'll just level them to get as much out of them as soon as I can, because I expect him to either get sacrificed or to desert. Like Hirguld, I know, we got him after a fight. However long he hangs around for, I'll be grateful for. Eventually he'll just leave. Even if I have happy dust to give him, eventually he'll become a drug addict. Or he will leave when there's a sacrifice event. So really, long story short, how do you deal with sacrifice events? Just mental fortitude. Just know it's going to be a long, brutal struggle. Until eventually when you get 12 cultists, then you've got your other cultist reserves, like 2 bowmen and 2 polearm guys that'll alternate. Then you hire 4 other guys whose job it is just to be sacrificed. Beggars, refugees. Because as it was explained to me, when a sacrifice event pops, it takes the 4 lowest XP guys and chooses 2 of them randomly. I'm pretty sure it should, I imagine it would get addictive. I mean, it is a drug. Let's take the sword mastery on him, that he can riposte. 67 accuracy for him. Okay, at least now I've got 2 riposting swords on the outside flanks, so that's quite nice. +3 or +4. 20 at level 6. I'm quite hopeful about that. Yeah, you can't. There's no way you're going to keep a monk in a cultist group. The cultists and the monks will fight constantly. But I mean, if you can get a monk who's got a trait that'll allow him to remain happy in resolve, fine. Like let's look down the road. Let's say we're 500 days in. I've got my 14 cultists all fully converted, and fully geared and ready to go. Let me just get my brain. It's I've got them ready to go. And then if I had to pick 4 backgrounds, that would be ideal, just to have them sit in reserve. They just sit in reserve and they just there to be sacrificed. I would say probably minstrel, maybe even a miner, because he can dig for you and find gems. Historian, definitely. Historian has brilliant events. A monk, maybe. He'll occasionally fight with your lads, but what are you gonna do? So I've had very little time here in the south. Wilderness discover, we can do that. Seek to defeat a group of a dozen, we can do that. Trading, let's earn a fortune. Spread the word, but let's every settlement far and wide. That can be done pretty easily. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more places to find. Indebted, yes, of course. No upkeep. Let's see. Come to a watering hole. The well's walled exterior is embroidered with animal skulls and similarly stitched with their ribs. As you draw near, there's a faint hiss from the depths. Staring in, you see a tiny orange glow snaking left and right. You might want to try not looking down there. You turn around to see a man dressed in rags. His hair is spiked backwards in black chevrons. Dark splotches pepper his face, and he's got bruises on every fingernail and a tired smile. What's about to blow? That ain't no watering hole. That's a cannon. I've got a pile of fire powder in the bottom. The chute is armed with buckets and fishing rods, all manner of cutlery. Some soldiers' metal boots, a broken sword, a couple of scabbards. I think a few animals fell in. They no doubt dead now. We're going for a ride. Don't do that. You don't know a damn thing about me, stranger. Maybe I aim to kill myself because I've done a terrible crime. I mean, I haven't. But what you're doing, going off about, don't do it. You've seen my preparation. Were I of a mind to pause, wouldn't I have done it at any prime moment? Now you sit back there and watch this. He turns and leaps into the hole. There's a clatter of his crashing, some murmuring about how there's more debris than he remembers. When you look down, he yells at you to clear out. The orange glow zips into a hole. The man bows. I bid you, good stranger, a strange fare. The explosion blows out your ears and puts you on the ground. The earth rolls beneath you in tremble that can be felt through the deafness which you are now submerged. A pluming cloud of fire spears into the sky and growls with the clinking and clanking of metals and the dull plops of leather and other goods. You roll to your belly and cover your head as it all comes down like the scraps of some god's hellstorm. Absolutely none of the debris is of any use. As for the man himself, well, he got his wish. He no doubt died in the blink of an eye. All that remains are charred chunks here and there, and broiled lungs and seared strips of sinews and more. You check to make sure your eyebrows are still there, satisfied, prepared to move on. The handguns are going to be great for the cultists because we're going to struggle to get super accurate guys, but the thing is, I don't want a lot of reserves. If I was going to use gunners, I'll have like 2 gunners, but then I would still want 2 dedicated archers. Because there's going to be plenty of fights where, especially against like, you know, the mortar, where I want to be able to shoot at 8 range. I think so, Martin. I agree. They are, like you said, pretty much perfect for the start. Bit of a cargo 2 days to the north. We're nearing getting enough money. A day to the north. We're almost able to hire our sergeant. Anyone hurt? No. What are these events? Ceremonial season. Prices for incense are at an all-time high. If I'd bought the damn incense, I could have made a fortune. Tools are still so cheap. This was bought for 68, so that's not a great margin. Well, the thing is though, Wolfgang, you do have to march that shield wall forward under fire. Let's go operate in the north for a bit. We've got to find these other towns. Some marksmen. Don't want to do that yet. So I thought it depends. Like when they are shooting at you. It's also not great, but I need to sell this shit. Yes, they predominantly test your morale. The guns that we can use, the handgun, is just basically a shotgun. It's a short-range shotgun. It's pretty much all that is. I mean, the base damage isn't great. The individual damage is not great. But remember, you got to multiply that damage by however many enemies you hit. Where's our dog? We had a dog. Good boy. I do like these Adagas, they're really good. Crippling strike, I don't know. I would have to look at the numbers on those guns. I doubt it very much. 5 days to the north. That's a lot of money. Schweikhof, is that one of the cities we haven't found yet? Perfect. Hell, we might even go past some of the other cities. And this is Kammersmark, 2 days to the southwest. We've been there. I mean, you want to be firing into groups, exactly. But the thing is, I think it's going to help a lot for, like, zombie swarms, undead swarms. Perfect. A few brothers come to you. They say Marden has been sitting with Rymar sacrifice. Show him the darkness. Right. Where's Rymar? The new title is Goon. So a goon is just a sacrifice who has become a cultist, but who doesn't have the right numbers or distribution of stats to have long-term potential. Quick hands and my two hands giving him the spear flamethrower. I think with the spear flamethrower, oh god, I don't want to fight barbarians. Not many reavers. I think like guys like these sacrifices and goons who don't have good potential, I could just give them spear mastery and give them the fire spear, because then you know they can use the fire shot once and then still be using a weapon that they're proficient in. This is gonna suck. Maintaining shield wall is gonna be crucial. I fucking hate fighting these barbarians. We might as well move in and get a round of attacks off, or at least get the shield wall up. Oh! 69, missed. Also closing into melee range of this spetum. Is that a spetum? What's the throwing thing called again? It means that he doesn't get to throw and wreck someone's armor. Pylum, thank you. There was a super interesting Scholar Gladiatoria episode on the pylum. Oh, come on. This is gonna hurt. This is going to fucking hurt. Ooh. Oh. Oh! Oof! Shot! Modern with the headshot. Yes, lads! Well, Ludolf only has 62 hit points. So, Harold, unfortunately, if Harold shield bashes him, it'll knock him that way. So, Hirguld, you have to move in, shield bash him away, so that Ludolf can move away. Unfortunately, that now puts my best guy in contact with a two-handed Reaver. Go on, boys. Oh, I need a disarm to hit. Can anyone close? Actually, this guy could close into them. But if Ludolf dies, I mean, who cares? Well, I'm sure he cares, but... Ooh, he lives. Yeah, Mazuma is going to be pretty damn tough. If I look back to, you know, all the Battle Brothers I've played, it's taken me an embarrassingly long time to appreciate the real value of tanks. The whole philosophy of the previous playthrough with Damage Incorporated was all about having 12 brothers that all do as much damage as possible. And don't get me wrong, they are great in a lot of fights, but overall, they're not that great. Like, the tougher the fight, the more you need those tanks, because the hyper damage, hyper offense guys, it's basically, it's a glass cannon build. It's all it is, it's a glass cannon build. Not yet on M1, but we are going to. My tanks, oh god, and maybe even the replacement sacrifice lads, we can give them taunt. I mean, taunt could be situationally quite important, like in this situation, if I could, let's say we kill this guy and taunt that one, then Hirguld is safe. Yes, there is a negative. The new shield has less durability. It has 18 as opposed to 24. I think in retrospect, not taking taunt was a mistake for me. I think, especially when you're fighting witches, And even Necromancer's taunt is so important. Because if you taunt a witch, they can't cast spells. If you taunt a Necromancer, he won't cast spells. Oh!
Good tonight. Will you
Then week, thanks for the sub, my man. Welcome to Camelot. Tis a silly place. I just remembered another little detail in Quest of the Holy Grail. During that musical number, when they're like, up the table, it's the Camelot song. I love how that they cut down to the dungeon and there's this guy tied up. But he's like, I'm tied up, but he's still clapping along to the song. Oh man. We eat ham and jam and spam a lot. Oh, absolutely. We're going to have to do a recital from Armaments, chapter 2, verses 10 through to 13. In fact, I'll play the audio. Before we throw our first Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch, we'll have to have a recital. Right, the front line got the shit kicked out of him there in that fight, so if we get attacked again, we're probably going to have to run away. I worry that my dagger lad has rolled nothing but +1s every level. It's no bueno. Executioner is so good. Okay, so for my dagger lad, I think we might have to go heavy armor on him because he doesn't have good defense. Shield expert, unquestionably, though. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten it now, but I knew I was going to get it eventually at some point. Right, so you've got to come off the front line. You've got to come off the front line. Raymar and Leaf can go up to the front line, I think. Armor wise, 90. Okay. Just not great, it's just okay. Sorry, excuse me, lads. Bloody chest infection. Ugh. Actually, for my sacrifices, I should probably be going FA, gifted, recover, then student, then shield expert. Oh no, then flail, then shield, then something like that. It's Weeble. He gets. Been a while, bud. Haven't seen you around. Are these worth repairing? I think they are. The rule of thumb I'm using for repairing weapons is if the current value of it is 250 or above, I'll repair it. 250, of course, being the cost of your, pretty much the cost of a stack of tools. I really want to encourage you guys to be more willing to take on trading caravan missions in the early game. A few poachers, one marksman, and many raiders. That is spicy as hell. We're going to be fighting them in the forest. We'll give it a try, but if not, we'll just have to reload and abandon. Nighttime does help. And I'm happy to hear at least they are coming towards us. I should have swapped out the swords for flails. God damn it. Just got to get it into my head that the flails are specialist raider killing weapons. I could have just one tapped and one tapped there, but now I've got to grind through them. Okay, we'll put the front line there and there. So that puts the spearmen there. It should be good against ranged, but it can mean that they can sit behind a tree and just loose bolt after bolt after bolt at us. You two are going to go north, so that puts me there. I haven't fought an Ifrit yet. Haven't encountered an Ifrit. I have no doubt we will at some point. I don't want to break these lads' shields. Let's go south. I wish I could give orders to my caravan hands, or I wish that they would come under my control. I'm not saying I would just, you know, walk them blindly forward as meat shields, but there's so many fights you get into where the crucial difference would have been the caravan hands not just standing there for moral support. You need them to actually do something. Well, actually, this donkey is clever. He's ready to get the fuck out of there. Ready to run away bravely already. Actually, Mizuma should be able to 70% miss. Ooh, an arming sword. Nice. I think it's 8. It's 12, yeah, it's 12 base, and then minus 25%. I get in there. If I can maybe catch that guy out. Like, I haven't taken rotate at the right time. Shot. Yes. Also, we just got to keep hanging on. Once we get high enough level that everyone gets fearsome, these kind of fights are going to get a lot easier. Bloody Nurgle. Cursed me. Modern, I've thought about that. It's one of the reasons I don't like some of these banners that don't have sharp, pointy ends on them. It's like you're just bonking them with that skull bit. But I like to imagine under that skull there's a point. The Kratox, I think I know exactly what you're referring to. I've been thinking of the same thing for a while, but it is dependent on having a brother with iron lungs. So I want to have him light armor, shield specialist, super high initiative, dodge, iron lungs, and then because then that'll give him the plus 18 fatigue recovery per turn, and then he will have huge defense. He will have, like, you know, 70, 80, 90 defense, and he will just get surrounded and just go into riposte. He'll have his base defense. He'll have the extra defense that he will get from sword specialization, and then he should just be able to riposte pretty much indefinitely. You're quite right, yeah. A legendary weapon would be good as well. The thing with defense, though, I don't know where I read it. I think it was on the wiki that defense above 40 falls off exponentially. So any defense above 40 defense gets reduced by 25. It doesn't show it on your brother's stats, but in terms of when it gets calculated for hit. So if you have 100 defense, it's, so what's 25% of 60? It's 15. So that 100 defense is actually 85. So, hang on, you're thinking about idea being skip, recover, and berserk, always swing twice per turn, super counterintuitive. Well, yeah, you could. I mean, the thing is, the build I'm talking about would only riposte if he is mega, outnumbered if he's surrounded. The thing is though, with that build, you're better off riposting if you're going to be receiving more attacks than you could otherwise do yourself every turn. Which is, as soon as you have more than one person around you, then riposting becomes more effective. Dodging attacks and being hit builds fatigue. I didn't even know that. 2000. That reminds me, we're just coming up on 2,000 hours played. And I never knew that, M1. I knew that maces fatigue you, but just getting hit by regular weapons and dodging attacks. Did not know that. Well fought. I'm gonna be disappointed if we have to abandon this caravan. We fought jolly hard for it. Oof, a whip right to the face. He's off on one. No, he's just hiding bravely behind a bush and attacking the donkeys. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you talk about the learning curve. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It took me 800 hours to even begin to understand how complicated this game is. That's half how complicated the game is and half how stupid I am. But to be fair, I didn't make a real effort to really think about game mechanics until a few hundred hours in. Well, Kratos, like, I mean, I like the idea of a more, you know, even damage output on your brother, but you know, I love Berserk so much because saying that the best defense is a good offense isn't just a cliche, it's true in those situations. And that third attack, if you get Berserk, a lot of times is better. I mean, you can make an argument for having your entire squad all go with Berserk and Adrenaline. So for all but the biggest fights, that kind of build is going to be super effective. But in a fight like the Black Monolith, you're going to struggle because they just have the numbers to outlast. 2, that's fucking crap. Its fatigue is decent at least. Dune. 59 accuracy is fucking garbage. We'll just go recover so he can break shields and recover. Level 6 on the sword tank. Nice. It hurts me taking +1, and I won't yet. Let's get his hit points up to 75 and then we'll leave it there. What do you need? That's got to be recover, surely. Especially with only 63. Sacrifice. +3 is good. 48 now is good. Rotation. It's just something about rotation. I always forget about rotation. I'm so offensively minded. Should have taken rotation. Oh, we just picked those up now, did we? Absolutely. I mean, rotation is a core skill for almost all of my brothers. 670 on the Zuma. Nice. Sweet. Bombing sword. 63, arguably Rymar. Yeah, he can use a sword. He's got 63 accuracy. 35, 45, 40 to 45. Nice. No, I don't think it's mandatory. I mean, for light armor, I feel like steel bra is more important for light armor guys. But for heavy armor guys, the majority of the time, they can get away without it. Don't get me wrong, steel bra is a very good skill. But as always, it's a question of what are you not taking because you've taken that. Maybe now Steelbrow is a lot more important because of the change to Headhunter, and I don't know, frankly, what enemies use Headhunter. Many thralls, a few reavers. Okay, they'll leave us alone.